something I was thinking about. This is awesome because I was talking to somebody about this, and they were asking me, some of the philosophies that I talk about and where I got from it. And this is an interesting thing. Is this is what happens when you believe in when they say follow the science. So this is gonna be weird. So I was thinking about how and why. I'm hoping I can get this in before the calls start running. 347-464-2827. Why is it that why trust is one of the most important things when it comes to women, and I believe that there's an instinctual background for this. What I mean by that is that um, the instinctual background is this: when a woman is pregnant, right? When a woman has a child, she's at her most weak, at her most vulnerable state, right? And so a guy who is untrustworthy, who she can't trust, a guy who won't, she can't count on to keep, that has her back, because she knows that she's at her most vulnerable state when she's with a child, is why one of the reasons why strong men are an attraction to women, because they know that they have the opportunity to be vulnerable, and somebody else will fend for them or have their back. Conversely, here's another thing. Out of all the primates in the world, and this is evolutionary science, you can check this out. If I get something wrong, I know this probably, my fan base is pretty smart, so sometimes they be checking me. But human beings are we have the biggest brains. And one of the reasons why we have one of the adaptations of us having the biggest brains is the fact that that's why the center of children's heads are small, because the skull can't form itself until later on, because the brain needs space to grow. If the skull was sealed upon the birth of a child, then the brain couldn't grow, right? So there's a few things that happens to that, right? Because of that, babies are probably the least self proficient mammals out of the whole animal kingdom. Meaning that, if you got a brand new baby, if you leave him out, he's gonna die. So the rearing and the growing and the fact that a mother has to look over their child, we have the longest, I guess, the incubatory period of time. In fact, the brain is not fully formed until I believe it's 26 years old. Does that sound right, Mike? They say about 26 years old that people, your brain is not fully developed. Mike's not listening to me.
No, I am. I was Googling it.
I'm sorry.
It says the brain finishes developing and maturing in the mid to late 20s.
20s, right. So, but the skull has to heal first, and so that incubatory period of time, once the baby is born, this is why children are so dependent upon the mother, which is there's a genetic precursor that makes that maternal instinct is there for the connection between a mother and a child. And I'm not saying that happens all the time, but I'm saying that this is an instinctual element that's in place simply because so that the species survives. So if you don't have an instinct, you don't have a maternal instinct. If human beings didn't have a maternal instinct, is very likely they would have the baby and then dump them on the side. As T.I. would say, sharks are born swimming, which I don't know what that has to do with comedy, but but sharks are actually born swimming. In fact, sharks have been known to eat each other in the womb. Human beings don't have that same perspective. Their children are born very vulnerable and weak, and so they need the mother, the period of time from when the mother watches the kid till the child goes on its own, is we have the longest period of time where, because things have to be taught, and they have to learn the survival skills in order to survive, which a lot of people Even after 26, don't figure that out, which is an interesting thing in terms of but I'm just saying, just on a fundamental level of the genetics of it. To the same token, so that's why the guy has to be trustworthy, because trustworthy equates to safety. That's also why women find strong men more attractive. It's built into the DNA, and no matter what we talk about in terms of gender being a spectrum or women's rights or any of those things, there is still an instinctual bed that exists that governs the way people think. I'm not saying that we have to adhere to that. In a lot of cases, we don't adhere. Like, for instance, people are carnivores. We eat meat and we eat vegetable, but we can choose to be vegetarians. Doesn't mean that we don't have we have the organs, and the length of our intestines is long enough to digest meats. But we can choose to not eat meat and just eat vegetables. So we make a conscious decision. That's the cognitive. Doesn't mean that the instinctual side or the instinct of our, or just not even instinctual, that the way our body functions naturally, that we can digest meat. The same is true in terms of the maternal instinct and how and when it elevates itself to something as fundamental as attraction. Women want strong men. They don't know why, or there's no reason, but there is a genetic, what I'm saying is a genetic precursor involved in that. And that's why women are strong. They're attracted to stronger men. So if in the subtext that you communicate that you're not a strong man, or you're not honest, or or that you can't keep her baby safe, she's probably not going to find you attractive. I'm not saying that is the end all be all. I'm just saying that is one of the many variables in which people think about. Well, I think that we have to take into consideration the instinct of how human beings are, evolution, and all those things, because there's a variable there. So I just wanted to say that. I mean, somebody asked me that question, and I haven't given that answer in a long time, and I just thought we got a call. Let's go.